Now, here's where worlds and wars collide. Over the weekend, Ukrainian drones struck an Iranian ship in the Caspian Sea. Kyiv says the ship was carrying military cargo. Tehran says it was a commercial vessel.
Iran's foreign minister claiming both sides don't want any escalation. Iran just wants restitution. And while Iran may try to sweep this strike under the Persian rug, so to speak, jury's out on what's next with the U.S. and Israel. Little has been disclosed about Bibi's meeting with DJT. U.S. strikes still appear to be on pause.
That's sending oil prices lower. West Texas crude settled just above $79 today, marking the largest three-day drop since April 10th.
Here to unpack all of that and then some, former Deputy National Security Advisor Victoria Coates. Victoria, great to see you. Start with Zelensky, because this is clearly a Ukraine that is besting Russia. And with these added sanctions that were shepherded in against Russia by the dearly departed Senator Lindsey Graham, where does this leave Ukraine in the fight?
Well, great to see you, Darren and Brian. Yeah, I think it was certainly no coincidence that the two wartime heads of government, Netanyahu and Zelensky, were in Washington today for Senator Graham's funeral. And in a way, his final gift to the president was, these meetings that come at a really timely moment. So 18 months of President Trump's tough love for Ukraine have had much, much more positive effect than more than 3 years of Joe Biden's bumbling non-policy of as much as it takes, as long as it takes, which is a bumper sticker, not a strategy. But President Trump has inspired Ukraine to go back to the drawing board, develop those long-range attack drones that they can now sell around the world. That's a source of income. We may even buy some. They're so clever. And then also to start asking for things like licenses for the PAC-3 Patriot interceptor missiles, which then Ukraine can manufacture on their own if we can get to an export version, and share some of that stockpile with the United States, which we need. So what I think you're seeing is a successful policy in action, and the one thing that might actually get Putin to the table.
Okay, so among the bevy of meetings today, there's the Zelensky meeting, that's Ukraine. You had the Netanyahu meeting as well. Trump and Netanyahu were tight, no daylight between them for some period of time. Everyone now is saying, look, a little bit of a rift has opened up. Netanyahu comes to the United States. How much daylight exists between these two leaders right now, and how much does that matter in terms of what comes next, Victoria?
No, ultimately there really isn't any. They've worked together for years and years, and they both, have a lot of respect for each other. They've both been wartime presidents, or prime minister and president recently, and the United States and Israel have a unique partnership. Now, that said, they are both outsized personalities, very powerful politicians. They're both in election cycles, and so everybody's going to have their own priorities within that framework. However, I think the goal of preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is something they share in spades. That is literally their Trump card. And so that's what they're both going to prioritize. The tactics might be minimally different at times, but that main strategic goal, there's no daylight there whatsoever.
But what do you, there is a sense that not everyone, and I'm trying to be cautious about this, that not everyone in the president's orbit is on the same page as President Trump in terms of Israel. And that becomes, and Larry Kudlow, I don't mean to ever paraphrase what Larry says, but it really becomes quite dangerous given the anti-Semitic rhetoric that's coming out of the left here at home when you kind of come out and are not supporting Israel. Am I making myself clear, Victoria?
Oh, I think so, Dagan. But I also think it is absolutely fine for any American citizen to ask any question they want about our national security policy. And when you're a policymaker, as I was, or a think tanker, as I am, it's our job to answer those questions. I wrote a book about this called The Battle for the Jewish State, because I wanted to get in front of those questions. But ultimately, the policy here is the president's. And I think we need to look at President Trump's track record, his enormously successful track record on Israel, which he began with his historic AIPAC speech in 2016 that laid the predicate for his larger policies on Israel, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, recognizing the Golan Heights, the Soleimani strike, and then Operation Midnight Hammer, now Operation Epic Fury. He has done more to support Israel by targeting our common enemy, Iran, than any other president. And so I think that's where the policy lies. And if I were a member of his administration, I would take my cues from the president.
Victoria
Amen.
Coates helping us keep track of all the many meetings. We appreciate it. Good to see you tonight. Thank you.